Here's another one in relationship to the politics, but you've probably even seen this even in the news media industry. So one case that I had, it's the only case I've ever had of Satan as the possessor. Those kinds of cases are very, very rare, even historically. And the only reason I thought he was actually, this has got to be the guy, is because he was trying to kill this woman and that he was possessing. And he was also, for 3 straight days, I beat this guy ruthlessly in a session, and he just lied all the time. Even when it would go better for him, if he just told the truth, he would just lie, which is what Christ said about him. He said he was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. Yeah. So, but anyway, at a certain point, what came out was, so in heaven, there are nemeses. Just as St. Michael fights against the demons, there's nemeses in heaven against the demons. So the demons actually have nemeses, specific holy people in heaven that actually combat them or deal with them. And very often it's because of the facts, like, for example, the demon against the noonday devil is actually St. Catherine of Alexandria, because of the fact that she conquered him by conquering that particular aspect of human nature, which is the tendency just being slothful and lazy, right? Well, in this particular case with Satan is the nemesis was St. Joan of Arc. And the reason it was St. Joan of Arc, as it starts to come out in the case, because you have a series of sessions and stuff starts to be revealed about the dynamics of the case and why Christ allowed it and why is this particular demon possessing this person at this time and for whatever reason. And what basically came out is that St. Joan of Arc was the nemesis because she actually showed up during one of the sessions. I don't see her, but the person who's possessed actually saw her appear, and the demon just completely freaked out and starts running straight at me. And when I'm watching him run straight at me, I'm like, he's not coming at me. He's trying to get away from something. She literally ran over the top of me and runs the woman that's possessed, but it was actually the demon, goes and cowers in the corner. And so I asked the woman, I said, what, after the session was over, I asked the woman what happened. She said, well, Joan of Arc appeared. That's how terrified they are of the people in heaven. Well, over the course of time, what came out is that the reason St. Joan of Arc was the nemesis of Satan in this particular case was because of the fact that St. Joan of Arc is the nemesis to Satan under the aspect of treason through ambition. Yeah. And
treason through ambition.
And the reason Joan of Arc is the nemesis of him under that aspect is because she was put to death by a bishop who was French, who was siding with the English so that he could get a higher bishopric. He could advance in the church. So he commits treason in order to advance himself. And that's what the ambition part is. That's a description of a vast majority of the politicians in this country.
It's very obvious to me that demonic forces go after Christian leadership.
Yes.
It's one of the reasons so many of them are rotten. I feel sorry for them. And also leadership in general. Like the U.S. Congress has a much higher incidence of diseased personal lives.
That's right.
Than the American population. That's not an accident because they have authority. That's just what I've noticed. Do you think that's true?
Oh, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, as far as the Christian leaders, a lot of times what happens is they'll start out with good intentions.
Totally.
But then when they get to that position of power, it attracts the demons because for demons, they because they're cut off from God, they no longer have grace. They don't even know the economy of grace, and by that I mean in the sense they don't even know what helps that God is going to give to different people to get their lives together. That they have no access to any of that knowledge. They don't have any of that. They don't have. They hate each other. They can't stand each other. So they don't even have the common.
They hate each other.
Yeah, they completely hate. Each other, and so they do. Yeah, and so as a result of that, the only reason they get along is because they have a common end, which is to take us down, right?
Man, you're describing people I know.
Well, I'm getting there,
I'm
Tucker.
sorry,
that's I'm getting there. So the only thing that's left with the demons is because they were created in a hierarchy, so how intelligent they are, they have a will that's proportionately intelligent, is strong to that intelligence, and different demons have different degrees of intelligence. And so basically what that means is that one demon's will is stronger than another's. So in hell, there's only one thing that's left, and that's raw power. And so what happens but that power is melded with malice and self-servitude and that type of thing. And so what happens is that when you see people that go into positions of power, that attracts the demons because they know if I can get control of this guy, then I can then I can basically use his power that he has to cause all this other damage or to take other people down. That means there's two. So as I mentioned, a lot of the Christian leaders, they go with the right intentions. But when you're talking about politics or in the civil affairs where power is involved, sometimes people go in it with the right intentions, but then they get corrupted afterwards because the demons start. When you get that high profile, the demons are going to be really spending a lot of time and energy trying to take you down. But the other side of it is that, and we've seen this even in the Catholic Church, they'll get the wrong types of people into positions of authority. They know this particular person has this defect. They'll give the person the inspiration. You should go into politics. You should rule. You should be the governor. And so then they'll incline the person to go into that governorship, knowing that because of this person's psychological compatibility with them, with the demons, that they can manipulate this person to cause all sorts of damage.
Man, have I seen that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you must watch the news with your jaw open because you know what's happening.
I watch the news from a distance because it's almost like being in session. Like, I just saw that this afternoon.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, that's actually one of the reasons. That's actually one of. There's two things that I think you find interesting. I actually did a series on how communism and diabolic psychology are identical.
Yeah.
When you strip the veneer away of it, one being political and the other one being from the spirit world, we peel that veneer away. The patterns of thinking are exactly the same. But
is that true?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Can you? That's worth lingering on for a moment. Can you describe what you see as similar between the way demons behave and the way that the Bolsheviks behaved?
Yeah, I mean, well, we see it even happening in our own country in the sense that the demons always present a temptation as this pie in the sky, great thing that you're going to get, and you're going to get all this pleasure and joy, and everything's going to turn out right.
This dog's
got an itch. There you go. But they'll present it as, this is a great thing. You're going to get this pleasure. You're going to get this. You're going to get power. You're going to get. But then once they get, and so then you give into the temptation, and then from there they take you down. It's the exact same thing in communism. It's a pie in the sky thing. We're going to have nirvana because nobody's going to have to. There's not going to be any private property. You're never going to have to worry. The government's going to provide everything. Everything's going to be peaceful and joyful. And it's because of capitalism that there's all these wars. They sell you a bill of goods, they get you to sign off on it, and then from there they take you down. And that's exactly what the communists do. This is one of the reasons why one of the patterns in relationship to politicians in this country that are clearly communist. I said, you can just watch the pattern. They'll start out idealistic. But I always tell people, give them a couple years and you're going to see the malice.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you see.
Hurting people.
Yes, exactly. And they think it's justified to achieve this good thing in the end. But here's another one.
And you see that exact pattern of behavior in demons?
Yeah, in forms of temptation, when they diabolically obsess people about certain things. Obsession is where the demons besiege their imagination and their emotions to such a degree that the person can't really think outside the box.
Oh, man, who hasn't been there?
Yeah, well, that's it. And this is one of the reasons why, but from that you can self-liberate just
where
by,
you're just totally distracted all the time because you're focused on this one thing.
Yes,
usually
exactly.
It's lust-related, but not always. Sometimes it's greed-related or...
Right. And a lot of times the way you know it's diabolic is if it's from yourself, you can usually okay, I got to put that side effect, and then you go on. But when it's from the demons, you'll kick it out and it comes back. You kick it out and it comes back. And it's kind of this battle of just trying to keep that thing at bay.
Being angry at people?
Yes.
Envy.
Yeah. Another sign of diabolic obsession is it'll switch on and it'll switch off without any external stimulus. You'll wake up in the morning just torqued. You're like, why am I mad? You know, or something will happen and you're just like, why am I sad or why am I angry at this particular person, etc. And so one of the forms of diabolic when they affect people psychologically, you see this even with like people getting fired for no reason whatsoever because the demons step in and say, hey, you got to get rid of this person, right? Put a perspective that there's something wrong with this person. Then you go back afterwards, after the person's gone, you say,
like if you have the highest rated show on TV and all of a sudden they fire you one day.
Yeah, exactly. That's well, no, but that's just it.
I should have said that. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but it's proof though that the demons, anybody that is starting to get a little too close to how the demons are functioning in society or in a corporation or whatever the case, you start really seeking the truth regardless of the personal cost. The demon's like, we got to get this guy out of here. And then technically the term for that is a snare. They can put a perspective on a particular individual thinking there's something wrong with this guy, we got to get rid of him.
That is fascinating. I'm sorry, I never should have tied it to myself. This is certainly not about me, but I just couldn't resist it.
So what's in your toothpaste? If you're using the brand you grew up with, you probably don't want to know. The ingredients likely include fluoride, something called SLS, glycerin, foaming agents. It's a chemical cocktail. Van Man's toothpaste is different. Their miracle tooth powder is changing everything, and people are ditching traditional toothpaste filled with chemicals by the thousands. Van Man's tooth powder uses ingredients with the same mineral structure as your teeth that remineralizes them and strengthens your enamel naturally. No fluoride at all and totally edible. You could put it on toast. Not that you'd want to, but you could. People who use it report whiter teeth, less plaque. They wake up without that gross film on their gums. And here's the amazing part. Vivid dreams are back. You dream clearly when you stop coating your mouth in fluoride every night. Did you know that? Pretty amazing.